Actually, I'm going to have 4 questions for you. Your name, who you represent, your position on the bill, and then personally, I'd like to know where you got that hat.
Mexico.
All right.
Mexico.
Let's answer the first 3 questions for the record. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Juan Manuel Gonzalez, and I'm here on behalf of the Latinos for America. First, and because as a poll watcher from Rio Grande Valley, also I witnessed many things that, in my opinion, were not right in a democratic voting process.
And
Plus,
sir,
I also support.
Are you for, against, or on the bill?
Plus, I also support HB 6.
There you go. Sorry to cut you off. Please proceed. Thank you.
For example, when I was stationed inside, I was told by the judge to sit in a corner by the voting area, and told that I had to sit there and not leave for a minimum of 5 hours. While sitting there, I witnessed several voters that would ask for help. These guys walked in and would stand by the voting machine and look around and say, "I need help."
Wow.
And then it was either a young lady or a young man that would come out and stand by them. And I don't know what they did because I was sitting way off. Also, when my friend and another poll watcher came to relieve me, I went outside to my GOP pop-up tent and witnessed 2 different cars with paper plates. And in South Texas, they're called los politiqueros or politiqueras. These are people that go and bring people to vote. On intervals, they had 3 to 4 people in their car. The guy would come out from inside with a bucket. They all threw their IDs in there. Never checked to see if somebody was in the car that looked like the ID. Went out, brought the little portable machine, and was handed it to them. And the guy stood out there. And most of the time, I could see him. They would pass it to the driver, which is the politiquero, politiquera. And they would proceed to do the voting. Then after they finished, a big tent with a lot of barbecuing going on, they would come up, a guy would say, "Well, how many plates?" I didn't hear him, but he would come back with 3, 4, 6 plates into the car. And then they would leave. I should do like somebody we know that hands this to somebody to read it instead of following my own handwriting. I witnessed the driver in the voting procedures. Before they finished, the person would approach the car and do all that. So what I'm saying is, after a while, the same cars would bring other people, and they had paper plates, not to be identifiable. They had paper plates on their cars. And this, according to some people that I befriended, became friends with, they were Democrats, because they didn't like me. They said, "This is Democrat country, get out of here." They didn't like me there with my other signs that I had there. And I guess they respected me a little bit because of my white hair. So, and in the car, I didn't see people with a lot of white hair. Just like the guys that were inside that didn't know what they were doing. They spoke both languages, and another person would stand by them and do all that punching into there.
Mr. Gonzalez, if it's okay, the time's up, but we're gonna hear some more from you. Can you tell me? You began by telling me. So you were a poll watcher?
Yes.
And so you were excluded from doing your job? What happened?
Correct, because I was told to sit. That was where I was supposed to be stationed.
Who told you to sit down?
The judge.
Wow. I wish you had testified just before the last witness. Were you?
I had an assigned place to be at.
Yeah, but they made you sit down. You weren't able to move or observe.
Correct.
What is your understanding of what a poll watcher is supposed to do?
Observe.
Yeah.
And make sure that nobody comes up and does what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because
feel you were prevented.
this person would just come in, but because it's my first time doing this, you know, I felt intimidated and not wanted to be coerced or allowed to leave.
I'm sorry that happened to you. Thank you. Members, any other questions? Chair recognizes Representative Schofield.
Mr. Gonzalez, thank you for being here and for waiting this late.
Since last night.
Did I hear you say when the Politicare is brought up, drove a voter to the polls, which in and of itself is legal, that the election workers handed the voting
Apparatus.
use an iPad or whatever it be used to the Politicare rather than the people that are supposed to be the voters?
The Politicero or Politiquera was driving.
Right.
They had 3, sometimes 4 people in there, and it would be handed over. I could see that it would be handed over a lot of times, not all the time.
You witnessed with your own eyes
Yes.
the Politicare or Politicero doing the voting rather than the voters.
Correct. It would be handed. And the person that handed the laptop, whatever it's called, again, it's my first time doing this, would just stand out there and wait. And then he would take it back inside, bring it back out. Yep. With the other IDs.
I mean, that sounds exactly like the kind of illegal assistance that we've been talking about all night. Thank you for taking the time to come up here and tell us that, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Gonzalez? Chair recognizes Representative Fierro.
Mr. Gonzalez, thank you for your testimony. Just so I can understand, when I heard you say that they grabbed the iPad, the voting machine,
iPad, yes.
and handed it through to the person who was going to vote, Mr. Schofield asked you if the person driving was the one who voted on the machines.
A few times, yes. I saw it.
So a few times.
Yes.
Because the minute I heard you say he handed them, then Schofield asked you, and you said, no, he did, and now it's a few times.
Yes, a few times.
Okay.
Because other times, you know, it wouldn't be handed over. But a few times I did see it.
I said I didn't hear that the first 2 times.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah.
Members, any other questions for Mr. Gonzalez? And Mr. Gonzalez, by the way, I see you're from Westlake.
Yes,
Travel a long way. Thank you.
yes.
Have you been to the Capitol before?
When I was very young,
Well, welcome back to your Texas Capitol. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
it was in my high school. Very young, long time ago.
That's neat.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to give you all a few ideas on who's on deck. So I'm going to read a few names, and so I'm not calling you up, I just want you to have an idea. Rosemary Clouston, Tamara Colbert, Alexei Swirsky, Andre Villaplana, Manfred Wendt, Latanya Whittington, Selena Z, Michael Williamson, Griselda Ankeli, Alex Burnett.